Hello, everybody. Welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Scan Report, and it's time to look ahead to a return to New York Stadium with Leyton Orient coming as the next challenge. We have Steve from the Orient Outlook to give us all things Leyton Orient. How is it going, mate?
All good, Matt. All good. Looking forward to Saturday's game. I think there's going to be lots of goals, lots of excitement, hopefully, and yeah, we'll see what happens. We don't normally do very well at the New York Stadium, so hopefully the tide will turn. But I guess we'll see on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first thing we mentioned this, we were just talking this before we started recording. The first thing all Rotherham fans will want to know is the rumours of Richie Wellens at the minute. He was obviously strongly linked last week with Luton. That's gone to somebody else. It feels like, as we're just talking, that I think things will probably settle down from a Richie Wellens point of view. He's very likely to be manager Saturday and for the near future.
Yeah, unless something drastic happens, I think, like we were saying, Luton, for me, he was the obvious choice for Luton. I'm a bit gobsmacked they didn't appoint him for whatever reason. So I'm very happy he's still here. Blackpool, every time that job comes up, which has been every 18 months since Richie's been at the club, there's always the rumours that Richie used to play for them and he's the ideal candidate, but that never kind of transpires and doesn't look like that's going to transpire this time, hopefully. So all being well, Richie Wellens will be, I won't say in the dugout, right? Because in the last year or so, he's taken himself into the stands and kind of watched from the sides and lets Paul Terry, his assistant manager, and Alan McCormack, his coach, kind of do the talking. So it's very rare you'll actually see Richie on the touchline these days. But hopefully Richie will be sitting alongside our director of football with his earpiece in and getting his messages on to the players on the pitch, hopefully. And I'm sure he will be.
Absolutely. Let me take you back to a day in May that I'm sure you're not looking back fondly on, but I remember me and you spoke basically the same time last year. Yeah. And I think you were bottom of the league. You hadn't won at home. Everything was looking bad. And then it goes on to have what is an incredible season. Just talk me through the season last year and obviously the heartbreak that it ended in.
Well, I think, you're a Rotherham fan, right? This is a Rotherham podcast. Wembley heartbreak. Yeah. You know what you've done to us, Matt. You're lucky we're still on speaking terms after after what happened in 2014. Yeah. But no, an incredible season, really. It seemed like it, like you said, this time a year ago. I think when you came to us, I think we beat you 1-0, and it was a really rubbish game. I think it was a set piece that Dan Happy got his head on, and we won the game. And I thought we were maybe in for like a relegation battle. And I think the turning point in the season was the FA Cup second round where we beat Oldham. That's funny. You were talking about a last-minute goal against Oldham this season. We done the same last season in the FA Cup, and our goalkeeper scored a header to equalise in the 96th minute, and that seemed to be the catalyst for the season. And after that point, we never looked back. We went to some huge teams in League One and played them off the park. It was such an enjoyable 6-7 months to be an Orient fan. It felt like you had the right group of players at the right time. You had Charlie Kelman, who was a pretty decent striker anyway, suddenly turned into a prime League One striker, scoring goals for fun. You had Josh Keeley in goal, who had an amazing season. The back line all looked strong. Ethan Galbraith, who you knew was going to end up going on to pastures new in the summer because he was that good, was absolutely playing out of his skin. Jamie Donnelly on loan from Tottenham in the 10 role was brilliant. Dan Adji finally was getting games under his belt on the right wing. He's now gone to the Premier League in Turkey. It just seemed to all click and those players all gelled. We obviously had Man City in the fourth round of the FA Cup on BBC One. Everyone thought we'd get battered. We gave them such a great game. They had to bring on De Bruyne and Foden, right? In the 75th minute, everyone's sitting there like, what is going on? So, that could have been, had we got hammered, that might have kind of stopped it a little bit. But in fact, we only lost 2-1, and that seemed to reinvigorate the club even more. So we went a great run. We beat Huddersfield away 4-0 on the last game of the season, really comprehensively to kind of guarantee that playoff place. Had Stockport in the playoffs, and I'm sure you'll know the feeling. Sometimes when you get into the playoffs, you might be up against a better team, but you just got this feeling that you're going to win the tie. Yeah. That was exactly how we all felt against Stockport. And even when it went to penalties, and, again, not to go too much back to our fateful day at Wembley with you, but it's very rare you'll see an Orient fan confident at penalties. But at Edgeley Park, standing there at that cold night, you could feel we were going to win that game on penalties. So we did. We got to Wembley, and it's just all a bit rubbish, really. It's just such an anticlimax. It's almost like 2 weeks to the game. It was against Charlton, who sold it out straight away, and it just got there. It was just a really drab game. I think it was one game too many for us. I think it was a bit too long gap between the semis and the final. One goal was enough, and it's one of those games where it just kind of petered out really disappointingly. But nevertheless, a fantastic season, something to be really proud of. And Richie Wellens and all those players can hold their heads up high. And it's just a shame that, I think the first game of the season this season, there are only 4 players who started in the playoff final still at the club. So a huge turnover of players in the summer. So it's a very different Orient kind of squad now coming to you on Saturday, but with exactly the same principles that Richie Wellens has tried to instill over the last 3 years. And I think probably for the last 2 or 3 weeks, we're starting to see that click up top at the top end of the pitch, but not so much at the back end of the pitch. So I think the stat is we are the most potent attack in League One, which is excellent, which is what you want for any club. However, we are also got the worst defence in League One. So make of that what you will, Matt. I've got no idea. At the moment, I've got no idea what's going to happen at any Orient game we go into.
Great for making podcasts, though. Great for making podcasts. That.
Great for podcasts. I mean, I was away last weekend, so we had 2 weeks to cover, and we spoke about a 4-3, a 2-1, and a 4-0. So all in all, a pretty good podcast. I think over the last, Cardiff away, 26 shots on goal. Crawley at home, 24 shots on goal. So we had 50 attempts on goal in the last 2 games. And Doncaster, I've scored 4 goals. So we're certainly having some decent attacks at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Just going to come back to the summer. I suppose if you look at where the Leyton Orient is now, back when we played you to go in 2014, it felt like that was it, or nothing was going to happen. Obviously, not because of everything else that changed. From the outside, it feels completely different place. I know you've had loads of players change. But it felt like that obviously you want to go up, but if you didn't go up, it wouldn't be the end. Well, you've still got that continuity. You've still got a plan. Obviously, from the outside, it feels you're in a much better place now than you were back in 2014, almost a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in terms of sustainability, I mean, the club changed ownership over the last year, and that has been a real kind of seamless transition, and the existing board is still in place there to help out our new chairman, David Gandler. I think the big thing for Orient fans is we're going to move ground. They haven't announced where it is, but they're kind of, that is what the board are thinking about. They've made hints towards it. They've done videos about it. They're looking really to get that done by 2031, which is the club's 150th anniversary. So that looks like that could be the game changer, because these days in League One, I guess, as you'll know, Matt, most clubs now have got 15, 20,000 caps, and Orient is still playing in a ground which holds just over 9,000, which is obviously a massive hindrance. And we've got the whole kind of higher expense of London as well. So we found it quite hard at attracting players, which you wouldn't have thought would really be a thing in this day and age, but Orient have found it tough. So in terms of continuity, yeah, absolutely, definitely. Richie is still there, which I think is definitely the most important part of the puzzle. We've got a man who we know will lead us on to glory, who we know will manage in the Championship at some point. But yeah, 15 players over and out in the summer. We had a bit of an inconsistent start, and we've still been inconsistent, but the signs are there. I think the most pleasing thing for us as Orient fans is the game plan's normally been, from a contract perspective, 2-year deals for everyone. And then literally he's rebuilding every year because everyone's 2 years are running out. Yeah. In the summer, we're seeing lots of players come on 3-year deals. So a bit of a different mentality, a bit of a longer term plan. So Idris El Mazouni joined from Oxford, who we know, we've had him on loan twice, great player, 3-year deal. Tyreek Backinson, midfield general, 3-year deal. Josh Karoma, come back to the club from Huddersfield, 3-year deal. We signed Don Ballard, who we're all very excited about, from Southampton. He scored 6 goals in League One in 7 games, which is quite a great return at the moment. He's on a 4-year deal with young striker. So we've started to veer away from these 2-year deals where you can lose players almost instantly if they're, showing any sign of talent, like Ethan Galbraith, Dan Adju, who left in the summer for not much money for what they should have really been worth their value. So it's been a bit of a different perspective in that. So I think the future is definitely a bright one. We don't have a board who are going to go and throw money at it. We've got a conservative board who talk about sustainability, growing the fan base. So I think we're very stable off the pitch, and now hopefully we start to see the rewards on the pitch in terms of like the longevity of the club.
Absolutely. It's great to see. Obviously, when we played you last year, 2 poor games. Obviously, you won the first one, we won the second one. But I don't think either were probably a good reflection of what a good Leyton Orient side is. So if you guys are to have a good game on Saturday, what can we expect from what would be a good Leyton Orient performance, you hope?
I think you'll see some direct attacking football. Richie's kind of changed it now. We're doing a 4-2-3-1 formation. It's now kind of merged into a 3-2 almost. So the attacking threat of Connolly and Ballard as the 9 and 10 has been something that's paid huge dividends. And I don't think he'll change it up top. And Josh Koroma, who kind of arrived as our star player, is actually on the bench now in place of Richie's son, Charlie Wellens, who we signed in the summer from Reading on a free transfer. And Charlie, it's one of those, when you signed him, you're like, really? Signing the manager's son? Really? Is that what we're going to do? But to be fair to Charlie Wellens, he's been absolutely sensational. So that's been great. We've got a bit of a defensive injury crisis at the moment. We had 2 of our centre-backs go off injured on Saturday. So I think depending on how those defenders recover, we'll either see the 5 maintained at the back, which is what I think Richard would do if he can. But if not, I think we'll just go back to the 4-2-3-1. But patient football, potent attacking play. At the moment, we seem to be taking as many shots as what we can. Like I said, we had 50 shots in the games against Cardiff and Crawley combined, and we're coming off the back of a 4-0 win as well. So you'll see a team who kind of won't sit back. They may kind of take their time, but there's definitely goals to be scored on Saturday for Orient. But I'd say on the flip side of that, we don't look brilliant defensively. So I think the message from kind of your gaffer will be fairly clear. Get at them, put balls into their box, because if you do, more times than not, someone will probably get on the end of them.
Are you a kind of team that, because we so far this season, if we hit a bit of adversity, we'll fold and crumble to the ground? If we go hard and go early, is that going to really hurt you guys, or is there a bit of character in this team for you guys?
I think there's a lot of character in the team, and we've seen to. I think a great example of that was Cardiff away 2 weeks ago. We went 1 down, got back into it, half time 1-1, went behind early 2-1 to a dreadful goal defensively, and within a minute again pulled it back to 2-2. Got our noses in front 3-2, right? So we do show good adversity times like that. I think it's once we get into those positions sometimes, our complacency seems to kick in, and they just seem to lose concentration. And like we lost to Cardiff 4-3, similar to Stevenage week before that, went 1-0 up at home to them, and then before we knew it, we conceded 3 sloppy goals, and you're 3-1 down chasing the game, got back to 3-2. Same against Reading where we lost 2-1. It's a similar pattern has followed this season. I think the signs are now we're coming off the back of 2 wins, one in the Virtue Trophy, one in the league. So confidence will be high. I think the front 2 are going to be very confident. I think the big decision for us, and I think we're going to be looking at on Saturday, Matt, is we've had a keeper on loan from Stoke, Tommy Simkin, who was at Walsall last season. Started off the season really well. I think, as all young keepers do, has made the odd mistake. Has found himself a bit pressurised. Didn't have the best game against Cardiff. There were calls for him to be dropped. He didn't play on Saturday because he was away with England under 21s. And this Saturday, I think the big thing all Orient fans will be looking at is whether we get Simkin back in goal or whether we keep Killian Cahill. Again, another young keeper, but we signed him on a perm from Brighton on a 2-year deal. I think most of the fan base will be hoping for Killian Cahill to start the game. Kept the clean sheet, got an assist on Saturday. But Richie, you'll never know what Richie's going to do until that team's announced before the game, right? So I think that'll be the one to look out for, because I think most Orient fans will have their eyes on that, and they'll also be looking at who starts at the centre defence, whether Jack Simpson makes it, who came off injured on Saturday, and that will be the key, whether to go 5 at the back or the 4. So we'll all have our eyes on going into Saturday.
Okay, interesting. So something for us to look out for. And let's finish on a score prediction. Like you said, there could be anything this, to be honest with you, so this seems a bit pointless, me asking you, but we're going to do it anyway. What's your prediction for Saturday?
I mean, normally I'm fairly conservative. I think both teams will score. I'm going to go for a 2-2. So I think it'll be 2-2. I can see Orient getting into the lead 2-1, maybe with about 20, 15 minutes left, and Rotherham getting back into the game and us hopefully seeing it out for a point. I think Wood will take a point away to Rotherham. But I think, with Ballard and Connolly, I think their goals in the Orient team. But like I said, at the moment, I think if you can get at us and really get in our faces, I think there's probably goals to be scored for you guys. So hopefully, high scoring game, hopefully an away win for us. But I'm not too sure. I've got to go for the draw.
Fair enough. I'm looking forward to this game now. Entertainment is what I think.
You watch 0-0 now, Matt. 0-0, awful game.
Put the house on 0-0. Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you everyone for watching. If you want more of Steve, check out Orient Outlook. We'll put the links in the show below. If you've enjoyed our show, make sure you've subscribed and give this video a thumbs up. We will see everybody next time. Thank you for watching.